God damn. I don't know what it is. I don't know what makes my shit crash. I don't know enough about computers to really know. Google doesn't really help me. And I'm like, hey, why is this the issue? And it's like, well, it could be like 12 different reasons. I'm like, fuck, well, can you narrow it down? Damn! Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, my shit crashed. My shit crashed. And what's crazy, as it was crashing, and as it was about to reconnect, my stream ended, and then immediately my OBS reconnected. So, we're just getting fucking shafted, I guess. I don't know what the issue is. It's probably... I don't even fucking know. I'm not good enough with computers. I'll ask Tiger. Tiger's good with computers. I'll ask Tiger if he knows. I don't really want to bother him too much, but after the stream, I'll probably just, like, shoot him a quick message. He can give me, like, some of his personal ideas. Or personal, theories on what it could be. And then I could try maybe working out with him. I don't know. I enjoy existing. Infinity, hello! Everyone, welcome back in. 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 Me when your mom, when That's funny. Okay, so back into it. We'll go back into it. So, the Rocketeer does move around quite, like, fast. I know right here it doesn't seem like it, but it can move from, like, one area to the next pretty quickly when it's not shooting. Now, how much damage does the Rocketeer do? Let's check this out. Let's look back into it. So we can see this. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So this guy has more shields than these guys. So he's a little bit halfway done. He's already a little damaged. Let's see how many bars. So he gets shot. Bam. Takes all of it away and then takes some of this. So pretty much a Rocketeer's, for, I guess, comparison to other ones, a Rocketeer's rockets does a little bit more than... I'm gonna actually fucking freak out. Stop showing me these ads. I'm trying to get shit done, YouTube. It does a little bit more than the poppers that explode. Because while it was able to do a lot, this guy doesn't have as much shields as the other guy. And so we could probably say that it does either just as much or a little bit stronger. I would like to believe that it's a little bit stronger. Just because that's kind of what it feels like. You know, what's up? Hello, Pagan. Nice to see that you're here. Said he was going to do things to a lightning bolt. He'd be doing a... I want the number one spot. Well, then I guess, I don't know, donate money. Oh, that's funny. I was just about to say, well, maybe do a super chat. Hey, gnarly. Hey, yo, with the $10. So, like, when W, thank you so much, man. It means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, so we got an extra hour. I will say that I might have to cut it to like 40 minutes, and maybe not an hour, maybe, because I think my family's planning on doing something around when the stream's supposed to end. But I'll let you know. If I do have to leave early, we'll just bring this hour into the next stream. If we can't do this hour today. Speed, relax. Okay, I need you to relax. Guys, I might not be single for long, but we'll see what happens. Hey, good luck exists. Good luck, I exist. I have an exam tomorrow anyways. Well, good, because I don't stream tomorrow. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and, Fridays. I'm back chat. Hello, imposter. I didn't realize Steam was on. I think you meant stream. Or you meant Steam. I'm not sure. But anyways, back to the video. So, yes. The Rocketeer's rockets do more damage than this. And I said that these pops would be equivalent to level 2 stickies. Or like a level 2 or level 1. Regular bullets, normal bullets from a bow gun in Monster Hunter, for a good example. Now, where the Rocketeer really shines is that this motherfucker could shoot, this guy can shoot, I believe, 3 rockets at a time. It just shot 2 right there. And look, it just shot 3. I'm not sure if you saw that. It shot 3. And then it shoots another one. Damn. Hold on. So, it shot 1 that killed him. He shot another one. He shot 2 when he was down. And then he shot a 3rd one. So, this could actually do damage to Ahtal. If Ahtal cannot, like, catch the Rocketeer, then, I mean, you know, it could actually be a little bit difficult. It could actually put a small dent into Ahtal. You know what I'm saying? Actually, a small dent, you know, I'll be generous. It could actually do damage to Ahtal. It actually could. Now, here's the thing. Weaknesses, this thing does kind of like to float, like, right above you, / kind of in front of you when it attacks. And Ahtal could just straight up catch him out of the air with its, webs or its, silk. I will say, I think 3 Rocketeers could actually push Ahtal into a spot of needing to get into the mech. But 1 Rocketeer doing damage to Ahtal, but not killing him or taking him down. I'm sorry, her. The Ahtal are females. The Ahtal are females. Well, the ones that we fight are females. I generally don't care. Have fun with the family. Family support it. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about family? What are you guys talking about? I don't know why you guys talking about family. Can't a dragon destroy that thing in an instant? Depending on how, like, the force that he uses, that Ahtal uses to actually hit it. But theoretically, yes. In the back, like, these propellers up here, these little motors, will 100% bring this thing down. So yes, the Rocketeer is a Dragonator victim, but catching it can be more difficult, but yeah. Now we're getting into these last 2 that we're going to be talking about, which, well, actually, it's only going to be talking about the Queen. The Matriarch is another one that'll be even harder for Ahtal, and that's the one I really want to talk about, because that's kind of like the big, the big cojones, you know what I'm saying? The big boy. But yeah, Rocketeer, by itself, not the biggest issue, but with other Arc, that could be a whole different story. I just realized something. Because of the way insects move, if Ahtal gets a large hole anywhere on its body and starts bleeding, she won't be able to move. Because insects use their blood like hydraulics. You might actually be thinking of certain other, you might be thinking of certain, insects that exist. Not all insects are like that. You can actually cut an insect in half, and it could still be moving. Obviously, it's dying and stuff, right? But it's not like, if it has a hole in it, it's immediately going to stop moving, or it's going to be slowed down by even half. That's just not the case. Right? But is that game logic, or is that, like, real world logic? I'm not sure. Spiders do use, especially huntsmen and stuff, do use blood. They do push blood into their legs so that they can flatten up, so they can stand up. They can do a lot of stuff. That's true. However, spiders do have a thing where if their legs get cut off, they kind of like immediately patch it up. Like their body has a thing where it like closes the wound almost immediately. In terms of the legs, if we're talking about like the head or the thorax, then no, it can't do that. But yeah. Why are you doing sleeping? Guys are fucking with me. Here we go. This, plus the matriarch, is the biggest threat to Ahtal. This is the one with the big laser that can, like, melt rocks almost instantly and metal. This guy is a problem. Well, okay, hold on. It's called the Queen. This gal on gal fight. We're gonna have a cat fight. This is the first one where I'm like, Ahtal would probably need to be, like, in, you know, like, in her mech. I exist. God dang it. I have to go. See you guys. Bye, exist. Goodbye. Goodbye. You said the monster is female. Let me add him. I haven't had some. Oh my god. Imposter, stop it. But yeah, this is going to be an actual challenge. And I think it's just straight up bigger than Ahtal. Of course, it looks bigger because it's elevated, right? But in terms of, like, I think Ahtal is the size of, like, its main body. So it's bigger than Ahtal itself, the monster itself. And it has really destructive power. So this is going to be... This is going to be a definitely challenge. It's a mantis, you know? A bug? Yeah, don't let Omni-Man go near Ahtal. You'll fucking have a Viltrumite child with it. Is it just me, or did he not even hit any of those shots? Did he hit any of those shots? I'm pretty sure he did. Is he fucking hitting it? Or is he hitting above it? I can't tell. Is this a part of it, or is this smoke? Is he fucking whiffing all these shots? No, I think he's hitting it. I think he's hitting it. No? Wait, is he whiff? I can't tell. Why Ahtal, though? Because Ahtal uses a mech. It uses it uses things like the Ark to make itself stronger. And I like the idea of, like, futuristic robots, giant robots, versus kind of like, not man-made robots, because it's, you know, but like, organically made machinery, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Hello. Is the video meant to have audio? Oh my god, I'm fucking stupid. That is not the right one. Okay, truthfully, for a while, I actually didn't, like, when it came to the Rocketeer, I actually did have it muted. But, yeah, we'll just watch this again.
Is active. If you're looking for a guide on how to complete the event easily, we have a handy video already up on the channel. If you plan on actually fighting the Queen, you're going to need to come prepared and have a very intentional plan where and how you fight it. You'll also want to strongly consider enlisting the help of other raiders on the map, which is easier said than done, I know. The Queen is the most heavily armored Ark in the game, and because of this, using anything less than heavy ammo weapons and explosives is just a waste of resources. Sniper rifles like the Osprey can be effective, but only when targeting a very specific weak point at a very specific time during the fight. To our knowledge, the Queen has two primary weak spots. The first requires you to use heavy ammunition or explosives to break the armor off her legs, exposing yellow critical joints that can be targeted for increased damage, eventually breaking off entirely. The second weak spot is on the top of her head and is really only visible from higher elevations. When she charges up her laser beam, and for a short time after firing it, this will be exposed. Outside of hitting those weak spots, using heavy fuse grenades and snap blast grenades to detonate on her main hull will deal significant damage.
That shit was not working. Did you see that? These things were falling.
Fuse grenades and snap flash grenades to
they are
detonate
just
on her
bouncing
main
out. They are
hull
just like,
will
that
deal
shit was not
significant
working.
damage. You will need a metric ton of these grenades, but it is an option. In terms of where to fight her, you really just need a solid source of cover with a roof over your head. That's because the queen will periodically fire off a barrage.
Cheese! Hello, Cheese! BRB. Okay. Goodbye, Gnarly. See you in a little bit. Hello, Cheese! Hello.
Of missiles that will continuously try to land at your position, detonating after a short delay and blanketing a large area in fire. If you find a location where you can avoid the barrage, avoid the laser beam of death, and avoid her straight up stepping on you, all you need to—
Ooh, that was a good attention to detail. Did you see that? So he was taking... So the laser wasn't hitting him, but because of the absolute heat of this laser, it's fucking hurting him already over here. Which is a good attention to detail, which is why if you're ever like near a volcano and you see lava and it's right here, you're already going to be burning before the lava even hits you if you're near a volcano. So that's why it's like, when you see people like barely outrunning lava and stuff in movies, that shit's not realistic. This is a good attention to detail, which makes sense, because this thing is melting materials instantly. Bro did not have a cold drink, he didn't. I don't think Ahtal is winning. That thing is indestructible. We'll see. I do think when it comes to Ahtal by itself, and maybe like one Dragonator, I don't, maybe not. It kind of depends on how she's fighting it. But in general, probably not. I think I'd give this like a 55-60% chance of winning over Ahtal with just one Dragonator by herself. That's such an insane detail. That's so cool. It is cool. I like this. I didn't even realize this. I've been hit by its laser one time and I wasn't even looking, so...
Avoid the laser beam of death and avoid her straight up stepping on you. All you need to do is have enough resources to survive while dealing enough damage.
God damn, I want to see, does it leave a crater when it steps or no?
On you. All you need to do is have enough resources to survive while dealing...
It does, it breaks the ground. It breaks the ground, but does it, like, leave a crater? So this debris was made from the impact. This thing actually might not have a lot of physical power. You see, it looks like it's really damaging to us, but we are literally the size of, like, one small joint. So, of course, if this thing just kind of, like, steps on us, normally we die. But it might actually not have that much physical power. So, like, in terms of size, like, size to strength ratio, it might not even be all that strong for real.
Survive while dealing enough damage to take her down. If you're successful, the queen will fall, and it'll turn into a mad dash to loot the various parts before the PvP fighting breaks out over the massively valuable loot she holds. Her pieces contain nearly every art component there is in the game, in addition to advanced electrical and mechanical components.
Gotta go now, see ya. Goodbye, digital. Goodbye.
Magnetic accelerators, and the extremely rare Queen Reactor. You'll need this if you ever want to craft the equalizer for use in...
By the way, okay, normally I don't do this, but I was a fucking loot goblin, and as people were fighting the queen, there was a part of the queen that fell off, and that one part had 2 reactors. I put that bitches in my safe pocket, and I died almost immediately after. I have both these guns. I'm never using them. It's super rare. It's super rare. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let's go over the queen just a little bit more. Here, we can turn on more of the Wii music, and then kind of mute this and have this, like, footage be playing. So, the queen kind of has the same weakness as the Leaper. So if you do enough damage to the legs here, he says it, right? It will expose like a yellow here. So you see how it's kind of like white right here? Normally this wouldn't be the case, I think. So hold on. So he gets stepped on. So this right here, this yellow piece is a weak point. So once you do enough damage to the queen's legs, it will expose this. And this is very susceptible to damage. And if you break this, you break the joint, and it can't use that leg anymore to walk because it'll be destroyed. He also said that it has a weak point on top of his head, but I honestly have no idea what it looks like. He kept on like dodging in and out when he was doing this over here. I don't think this is it, because he said it's on top of the head. So I don't really know what that looks like. I guess just know that after firing the laser, it has a weak point on its head that it opens up. Again, that may come into part. Actually, that probably can come into a part with when fighting. But it's very situational, and most likely it's not going to be used. But it's at least there. What are you going to do if you're on top of it? That's a good point. Does it have... It doesn't have a pulse. Unlike the Leaper, and unlike the Bombardier, if you get close to this, or if you're on top of it, it doesn't have a pulse. Normally, you can't even get near this thing because this thing will just step on you. But if you were to theoretically get on top of it, I think it could just try to, like, shake you off, kind of like spin its head. But it doesn't have anything to really get you off. So that is something Ahtal could take advantage of very easily, actually. Let's see here. Anything else? I think, like, this, like, middle area where it connects to the main body from, like, the head area, this kind of, like, area right here is less protected than both the bottom and the top, but you have to get, like, really good precision with this to kind of, like, do damage here. So it's a weak point, kind of, but also kind of not really. Shake violently? It doesn't shake violently, unless it's something I haven't seen before. Unless it's something I haven't seen before, I don't think it does. This thing can move for its size pretty dang fast, but does it move enough and does it do anything to really shake off Ahtal if it was on top of it? I don't think so. Now, I will say almost every time you're fighting the queen, without exception, almost, I think like 95% of the time, there's a Rocketeer accompanying the queen. Like at the start of the game, you see, like, you say you're over here, you look at the queen over here, it will have a Rocketeer. So when it comes to this, I will allow a 2v1. The Rocketeer is allowed to help the queen because it spawns with the queen. It's kind of like Celtis Queen with Celtis, right? Think of it like that. Actually, that's so funny. It's almost exactly like Celtis Queen in Celtis. The flying little guy and then the big armored queen. That's so funny. The connection on the main body to the legs looks kind of thin. It is, but again, it's very specific. Like, it's very... Like, we as the players, if we're over here shooting it, it's easy. But considering it constantly moves its legs, like, all around, it'd be hard to get, like, a pinpoint, like, attack here. But I guess that's true. Has Ahtal's giant mech been discussed yet? It hasn't. We have yet to discuss Ahtal's mech. Because up until this point, we haven't had a reason to really discuss it. But now, with the addition of the queen and the matriarch, which is basically another queen-sized robot in Arc Raiders.
This is the matriarch.
Okay. We're gonna watch a small video on the matriarch, or no, huh? Do we, or do we not? Do we be thorough with this? Aztec, okay, hold on. Aztec Gaming has another thing.
With the latest update, the Matriarch, a new Arc boss, has been added into the mix, and this one...
Oh, but his gameplay is kind of mid. Like, it doesn't really show much. Complete guide. We'll try this one.
Yo, what's up, Raiders? My squad has already killed the matriarch.
Let me overlook this. Full matriarch fight. There's not, like, really good gameplay. Damn, why don't people just make some... Nah, I don't want to... Nah, it's not fair to say. I think this one's better.
Hey there, friends.
I mean, it looked like it could start spinning its head. It could, but I don't think it'd be enough to, like, if Ahtal, like, were to, like, not lasso, but, like, stick webs onto the top of it to, like, keep it, like, stabilized, I don't think there's any real way for it to, like, get Ahtal off. If Monster Hunter had about 5, just learn all the weapons. Yeah, just learn all the weapons. Here we go. Okay, hold on. We got the Matriarch. And, hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me, this is, again, by Legacy Gaming. Hey, it's a good thing that I have it muted, because there's an ad. So, this is by Legacy Gaming, the same guy who we just watched. And I gotta make sure to leave a like. And we're going to talk about the Matriarch. The final arc to talk about. And this one, even with Ahtal's mech, is like the biggest wall ever. It's weaker in some areas compared to the Queen. But in other areas, it's nuts. So, yeah, it's hard because the heavy weapons need patience and the weapon... Oh, you're talking about, like, Monster Hunter. Got you. I bought one of my friends... I bought one of my friend Wild for Christmas. Cheese, you might need... I read that as you bought a friend, and I was like, what do you mean you bought a friend? But no, okay, I got what you mean.
Friends, what's going on? It's Kodiak back with Livid. The Northline update is live, and that means Liv, the Matriarch.
This is the Matriarch. In terms of size, it's a little bit bigger than the Queen, I believe. It might not seem like it, but I believe it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger. The Matriarch is probably going to be the biggest thing we discuss about today. By the way, in this topic of Ahtal versus Arc Raiders, the Matriarch is probably going to be the biggest discussion. And the biggest, like, I don't know if she could win this kind of discussion. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Arc has arrived. We have fought one. We have killed one. What are your initial...
Okay, it's either the same size as the Queen, or it's like maybe just barely slightly bigger.
Thoughts?
I think it's a very cool step in the right direction for endgame arc killing.
Okay, so you're just kind of talking about it. Matriarch's abilities. Here we go. This shit's nuts, by the way. There's a reason why, even though it might be basically the same size as the Queen, it is 100% harder than the Queen. Not because it itself is hard, although it has some abilities that's fucking nutty, but because of what it calls in. This motherfucker calls in air support. This dude literally calls in Leapers, Bastions, Bombardiers, Rocketeers. This dude calls them constantly.
Yeah, so the Matriarch itself has a couple different abilities. And the first ability is that it can call down waves of reinforcements. What did we fight? We fought, obviously, the Matriarch, a Bastion, a Bombardier, a Leaper, swarms of Wasps and Hornets. There were some fireballs down there, a Rocketeer, like, the...
Dude! Holy shit, look at this. You fucking... It's like, I'm attacking, I'm defending the Matriarch. No, brother, no! Witness me! I'll avenge you! This dude fucking jumped. There's a reason they call him a Leaper. Damn. He saw his homeboy get smoked. This boy saw his homeboy get smoked and slimed. And he said, nah, I'm not having that. Yo, that's funny.
There were some fireballs down there, a Rocketeer, like the endless waves of enemies that it called in. It really does create an interesting dynamic for, like you said, an end game type of arc boss.
Yeah, it almost feels like a horde mode, like exemplified in a boss form, you know, where you're just trying to get rid of the spawner.
The Matriarch itself also has, I would say, 2 offensive abilities and then 1 more utility ability. So break those down for folks who may not have had the chance to fight a Matriarch yet.
Yeah, so she has one of her main abilities is she fires off these like rockets that are homing, but they come out at like a straight on angle towards you. So if
so they get launched up, but then almost immediately locked to you. It's not like homing missile, but it's just like really good accuracy. Are we assuming the robots have infinite ammo? We are assuming that, because as far as I'm aware, there's no, like... There's, like, some games have it, so the enemies do have limited ammo. Like, a large pool, but do have limited ammo. Halo has that. I know that. Normally, you wouldn't be able to see it, but Halo does have that. Well, does it? No, I don't think... No, okay, never mind. I think I'm capping. Halo doesn't have that. But no, yes, we to answer your question, we are assuming it has infinite bullets. To give it the benefit of the doubt, we are assuming that.
If you're like down low, it'll arc.
So the biggest problem for Ahtal Call is the fact that there is just so much from the make. Yes. Covertly, yes. I'm just gonna call you, I don't know. I'm gonna call you Clover. I'm sorry. Every time I see that, I have to actually, like, focus on pronouncing that name, and I just don't have time for that. I'm also lazy. I'm just gonna call you Clover. 3 Blangongi event quest. I do want to do that in stream.
And hit anybody that's kind of in front of her. If there's walls behind you where you're standing, you'll get huge splash damage. So they're kind of like really...
See how much damage that did? Okay, how much damage did that do? This guy was full health, I think. And he has either a medium shield or a heavy shield. Yeah, see? So he had... So the red is what he used to have. I think he had a heavy shield. This might be a light shield. Is this... No, this is a medium shield? Whatever. Just know that in terms of damage, this is significantly per explosion more than the Rocketeer. So this is pretty much like more than probably... This is probably does more damage than like Wyvern ammo for bow guns for comparison in Monster Hunter. Recap me or not. So we went through a video and we talked about we talked about the pop robots, the ticks, the hornets, the wasps, the leapers, Rocketeer, Queen. We did have a small discussion about the Queen, but we are kind of now talking about the matriarch. Overall, who's winning? Overall, Ahtal Call is winning. But I want to answer the question, is there a chance that Ahtal Call solos like everything we throw at the Ahtal Call, if like individually Ahtal Call can win? Which I guess technically yes, but it gets really hard when it comes to the Queen and Matriarch, especially the Matriarch. But yeah, so it's been going progressively in terms of explosions. It's been getting more and more like affecting Ahtal Call. So the pop robots probably wouldn't do that much damage. Ahtal Call would feel it, not that much. The Rocketeer rockets and explosions would hurt Ahtal Call, but wouldn't just straight up incapacitate Ahtal Call like how it does the player in Arc Raiders. The rockets from the Matriarch, if a barrage of them hits Ahtal Call, that's putting her on her ass. That's straight up damaging Ahtal Call. Now, Ahtal Call does have chitin, which is like insect armor, and it's pretty strong. But yeah, we haven't talked really that much about Ahtal Call, so we'll do that real quickly. Like, we'll watch like a gameplay video kind of in the background as we talk about it. But yeah, let's see what else the Matriarch got.
Huge splash damage, so they're kind of like really targeted attacks.
So no other arc like Emperor or Baron? No, because there's not like a ton of information about them. Even now, we're taking educated guesses on the things we have in terms of gameplay. Right? In terms of things we have gameplay, those aren't out yet. I think we have a size chart for them. But other than that, we have like no information on like attacks, attack patterns, like compatibility with other like strategic, with other arc. We don't know that. Like, when I saw the Matriarch, I didn't know it was going to be doing all this shit. I didn't know it had a fucking flashbang.
Like frontal focused. And we found that if you're sitting up high and you're maintaining height essentially over her, you'll have a way easier time of dealing with those because they'll more than likely fly past you as they're trying to crest the ledge that you're standing on and not hit anything, not damage you. If they do explode in front of you, they hit the ledge in front of you and you're usually pretty fine. So that's her main rocket attack. And then she has a secondary like barrage where she'll fire off, I think it's three or four salvos of missiles, similar to how the Queen fires rockets, but these will land and they'll blanket an area in poison. So it's kind of like an area denial.
Is this poison? I always thought this was more like tear gas. I guess tear gas isn't very good for your lungs, obviously, but I wouldn't consider it like poison. Like Monster Hunter poison and this, I don't think they're the same. Is this poison? Is this poison?
And then she has a secondary like barrage.
By the way, I see what you said, Gnarly. I think you mean video play spottable pauses. No, we're gonna like I'm gonna let the video play, like for Ahtal Call. I'm gonna mute it. We're gonna talk over it. Of course, I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna like the video. I'm gonna shout out the person for the video. But we're just gonna let it play as I'm talking. And there's a part like I need to like in terms of like Ahtal Call's weaknesses or a special attack. I'll pause and I'll kind of point it out and we'll analyze it. But overall, we're just going to kind of let the video play when it comes to Ahtal Call.
Where she'll fire off, I think it's three or four.
Yeah, so like, is this poison? So for any of you who don't know, in Arc Raiders, if you're in this, it doesn't damage your health or your shields, but it drains your stamina. Which is why I think it's more like tear gas than it is poison. Like, I don't think it's like Camellia's poison. Now, here's the thing. Would this actually affect Ahtal Call? Probably, but that's assuming she stands in it. You know what I'm saying? It's assuming that stands in it. Don't ban me. I'm a tier 3 sub, bro. Nah, don't even worry about that. The only problem is bigger arcs calling medium heavy units. That is. Like, the Matriarch is... the Matriarch is like the biggest issue for Ahtal Call right now.
Salvos of missiles, similar to how the Queen fires rockets, but these will land and they'll blanket an area in poison. So it's kind of like an area denial.
So this is after 3 barrages of tear gas missiles has launched. It's a pretty decent area, but again, Ahtal Call could just simply move out of the way. So I don't think this will be really a big issue.
If you're hiding behind cover, that's how she'll flush you out of cover. So again, you want to kind of be high. You want to have enough space to move around, so that way you're not getting pinched in an area where you're getting blanketed by poison. So those are like her 2 main attacks.
I'm going to freak out. Okay, hold on. Skip. Here we go.
The ability, I should say, and that's she basically creates an electromagnetic shield for a short period of time. Ooh. And that allows her to protect herself against any incoming Raider projectiles. I mean, obviously we haven't tested it with every weapon, but it seemed pretty impervious.
Yeah, it stopped. I was using a Jupiter during our kill, and it stopped the Jupiter projectiles. I think it stopped a wolf pack at one point. It stopped grenades hitting her. It stopped. I was watching other people ping her with hull crackers and everything, and it would just deny all those projectiles instantly.
So this is really weird. I don't know how we're going to quantify this. I don't know how we're going to like actually scale this or actually have this work. I actually would like your guys' opinion like right now. We'll have a small discussion about this, a very small one. How does it affect melee? So this is what I want to talk about. So this shield does affect projectiles, right? As you saw, like, right there, it had a little spark. That's projectiles hitting it. Can you, like, see it like this? Yeah, you can see, like, the dome area. You can see, like, this dome area. This has been when it gets hit with a projectile. Now, here's the thing. You can walk through these things, and it doesn't damage you. This, by itself, does not damage you. There's nothing preventing you from actually just walking through this. And once you're inside the force field, you can attack the Matriarch and it will do damage. However, it's so weird because how does it quantify what to let pass it and what doesn't? What if I threw a boulder at it? I think it would stop the boulder. Maybe it depends on velocity. You know, maybe it depends on velocity. Because, like, bullets, grenades, other things, right? Like, they don't work. Like, they get stopped like how this bullet got stopped. Right? So, if Ahtal were to just kind of like, let's say Ahtal's right here, right? And she just kind of like ran in, would she get stopped by this? Or would she just move through? And if the mech were to be like this big thing, and were to like rear up and then slam down, would this protect the matriarch, or would this like let it go through? I think it's based on velocity. I think it's based on velocity, but like what is the slowest thing it allows to go through? Okay, if you were to throw a handheld grenade, so like a baseball, and you threw it like a normal person, it does get blocked. So, assuming we're using that as a baseline, I think things like the Dragonators, things like projectiles, and maybe even if Ahtal goes too fast, she might just get blocked by it. But the real question is, if the Ahtal's big mech were to like rear up and slam down, would this just kind of negate it? Or would this get like smashed, like the projectile thing gets smashed? Because physically, the Ahtal's mech is stronger than the matriarch and the queen in terms of physicality. We haven't seen anything of both the matriarch or the queen that suggests that they have like physically strong bodies, as in like if they slam their bodies down, it would create like a crater the size of this, right? We haven't seen anything like that. We've seen that with Ahtal, but we haven't seen anything of that with the queen. So it's a lot of questions. I guess we can answer it in both two ways, right? We can answer it as in the mech and Ahtal can get through this, no problem, but things like the Dragonator can't. Actually, I'm willing to say that the Dragonator can't get through this. As in, like, it'll get stopped by this, but with the Dragonator... See, this is why when we talk about arc robots and things like this, it's hard to power scale because it's very hard to equate what can and cannot happen. Just move through. I'm sorry, I wasn't reading chat. But thanks for reacting to motivate me to get more in depth about arc raiders. Again, that was months ago. You're goated, bro. Also, it doesn't affect melee, so yeah, it should have no problem for them. Okay. So how about this? Ahtal and Ahtal's mech can just simply move through the shield and attack the matriarch directly. However, Ahtal's Dragonator, which is a projectile, it throws it up and then throws it at you, could be stopped by the shield. Yes or no? We're thinking that's probably like a good middle ground, right? If we're being generous, if we're being a little bit generous, I think that's good. Maybe it only affects small projectiles. Maybe it only affects small projectiles. That's true. Maybe. Damn, we just don't know. And I bet Arc Raiders doesn't really explain it. Like, there's logs about the matriarch that we do have, I believe. But I don't think it goes into depth about, like, the velocity or the projectile's size. So you can slowly walk through it or wait for it to pass by hidden under a rock. That's true. I think Ahtal would be able to shoot its webs. Because Ahtal's webs are not very fast, like a projectile. So I think Ahtal's webs would be able to go through. How big must a rock be before it doesn't work? I mean, we saw that just simply a grenade, like the thing, the palm of your hand. A grenade, if you throw it just like a regular human throwing a grenade, a regular sized grenade, it won't... It'll be blocked by the shield. And it does block bullets. So that's why I think it's not dependent on size, it's dependent on velocity. Because humans can just walk through this. arcs can walk and fly through this. Ooh, that's a good point. I've seen Rocketeers when they, like, quickly move. I've seen Leapers when they jump. I've seen them move through this. So unless it has, like, special parameters to allow arc to go through, but not, like, projectiles? I think Ahtal calls mech, and I think Ahtal calls webbing, because of how slow the webs are, potentially, could go through the shield. But the Dragonator, and if Ahtal were to throw, like, debris, like, let's say it grabbed, like, this chunk of rock and threw it at the Matriarch, I think it would be blocked. What if she waits for it to be above her mech? Wait, what? What if she waits for it to be above her mech? Oh, are you saying if the shield was above, like, Ahtal? I think it would still be fine. It can stop high-piercing rounds from Farah and other things like wolf packs. Yes. So I think, I'm telling you, based on all the evidence of things that do and don't go through, in terms of size and in terms of speed, I think it's the speed and velocity that an object is traveling that these things, like, recognize as, hey, we shouldn't let this go through. Right? And obviously, objects that are standing still, it doesn't affect them. So I think it's just straight up speed that affects them. Yeah, but if a bridge fell on it, so, like, if this bridge right here were to fall on this, would that work? I don't know. Another good question to ask is, what's the amount of, like, damage this thing could take? Because obviously in-game, you can't hurt these little things. Oh, by the way, I think for this fight, Ahtal should be able to damage these individual little robots that are actually creating the force field, because it's not, how do you say, the force field isn't on top of the robots, it's actually like a web connecting all the robots. So the robots are exposed. Now, of course, the reason for gameplay reasons why you can't just, like, shoot the robots is because the robots constantly move, and I feel like it's too hard, it wastes bullets. I feel like for gameplay reasons, you just wouldn't do it. But for, like, an actual battle, I feel like Ahtal should actually just be able to, like, damage the little robots. Now, here's the thing. The Matriarch could also just summon more, but I think the robots, these little robots that create the force field, should be able to get hurt and damaged and create, like, openings in the force field. Right? Most likely, it makes no sense since your character can go through it. It's kind of a weaker version of Gojo's domain expansion. It has similar properties for, like, evaluating danger as Gojo's Infinity, but it's not even one-to-one. It doesn't, it just blocks and pretty much, like, atomizes things. Not even atomizes, it just blocks things. It doesn't make them go slower. Okay, this is good. This is good to talk about. But if a bridge, I think this has, for gameplay reasons, I think there's not anything for gameplay reasons, I think it's a mechanic where you can't destroy this. But in theory, if, like, a mountain fell on the Matriarch, do you think, like, this would just completely save the Matriarch? No. Right? This has to have a limit. Realistically, this has to have a limit. Like, all this, let's say the entire building, bam, fell on the Matriarch while the shield's up. Would it just not take any damage? I feel like that's a little bit unrealistic. We have to distinguish realism of, like, a fight between, when we do, like, versus matchups, between, like, straight up game mechanics. And I think it's a game mechanic that it's pretty much invincible in terms of what you could do to it. And we can even say it has a high level of being able to take a lot of damage, but I think realistically there is a cap to how much damage these shields can take before it breaks. Now, here's the thing. While that might be, you know, accurate to say, truthfully, it's still, like, a good shield. It can probably take, like, one hit from Ahtal's mech, like a full charge hit, before it entirely gets destroyed. Because of the AoE and the impact, we'll probably just be able to destroy most of these, if not half of, like, not most, if not all. but that's still one free hit the Matriarch is able to